Now, your last destination on this trip was up to Vegas, where you actually went to visit a friend. But on the way to Vegas, you decided to stop at Zion National Park, which, again, was a place I've never been, being from the East Coast. So how was Zion? And since I've never been there before, share a little bit of that.
You know, it was so neat. I really feel that sometimes people and things fall into your path for a reason. Out on the point in Cape Royale at the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, I ran into a fellow traveler. He was a solo traveler in his car. He lost his job 4 months prior to that and just went on the road. And he actually is the one that suggested, you know, how about Zion? We were looking at our maps, and he ended up sharing a campsite. And he says, you know, are you tired of your dehydrated food? I said, I sure am. We ended up discovering this amazing restaurant in Kanab, Utah called Rockin' V that's run by two great retirees from New York, Victor and Victoria. That's why it's Rockin' V, and it was just a great find. And anyway, Maxwell convinced me to go exploring in Zion the next day instead of going straight to Vegas. And I tell you, Pat, it just going into Zion and following the red roads through the entrance of the park, it felt like, you know, I was Dorothy following this magical path, the red roads, and then the gorgeous striated rock formations and cliffs. I mean, it felt so close, like I could touch them, and like they were so textured and amazing. I mean, it was just, I just got an introduction to the park, and I definitely want to go back and spend some time and go on some deeper hikes back into the deeper rock formations. So that
wasn't even in your original plan then. That was kind of an add-on diamond in the rough.
Right. And rolling into the adventure, you just have to roll with it, and you can find little gems just, you know, lying in wait for you.
You know, one of the nice things about this kind of traveling and being out on the road and sometimes in wilderness areas and being on your own is the camping and being in a campsite and some of the gear that you use in that. And I noticed you camped most of this trip, but a couple items I wanted to ask about was the camp gear and the food prep. Let's start with your camp gear. What kind of tent and bags, et cetera, did you use and why?
You know, Pat, I think camping for me, I try to do it most of the time when I adventure ride because I think that's where the fun is to be had. So I used to be a backpacker, and so a lot of that gear can absolutely apply, and because you want to keep your weight down and be really efficient with your space, because there's not much of it on a bike. So you want to make it go far, and also quality is paramount, I think. So you want it to last and hold up in conditions. So I like using a Kelty Grand Mesa tent. It's a 2-person tent. I like extra room in there so I can throw all my gear in there in case it rains.
Tank bag and everything else.
Exactly. Everything goes in there, and except for the bike. But and I like the Big Agnes. I have a 15-degree Climate Shield Big Agnes sleeping bag because I'm a little claustrophobic. So I have plenty of leg room in there. Keeps me nice and warm. And my little luxury that I take is a little REI down pillow. But it stuffs down real tight, and I'm okay with the space that it takes up in my bag. So I like to use also dry bags, throw them on the back. I use Wolfman Expedition dry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dry bag, and so I can go through the rain and any kind of conditions, no problem. One nice little addition that I've added since my first big trip to the Grand Canyon was waterproof side saddlebags or leaves.
Okay.
And
yep.
That really made a difference, Pat.
They make a nice dry bags. A set of dry bag Ortlieb does also.
Yeah, they are really great, and I love them. It helps put the weight down lower. Handled much better after that.
Yeah, we'll talk about your weight down lower in a minute. You're cooking now. I see you had a jet boil unit. I also have one. As a traveling cook, though, I tend to be a minimalist. A couple freeze-dried meals and eat some coffee. That's about it. You did a little bit more than I typically do. Tell us about your jet boil use and the meals you fixed. You put a little extra effort into those meals.
I did, because from backpacking and family camping and stuff, I got tired of those meals that you buy at REI. And so I started dehydrating my own food. I actually just do it in the oven. You don't even need a dehydrator. I do ground beef, or I've tried my hand at beef jerky, and haven't had huge success yet, but I'm going to keep trying. But I can dehydrate it to where it is so much lighter, and it doesn't take up much space. And I've learned a trick to this, Pat, that if I put the ground beef or the meat, add it with boiling water in the morning in a small little thermos, and I carry it in my backpack all day. By nighttime during dinner, it's rehydrated to its original state.
Huh.
And it tastes delicious with the different seasonings, and I dehydrate it with onions and seasonings and lots of stuff. And I also dehydrate vegetables, and then you can take packets of rice or whatever you want, and you can make some nice little meals. This last trip I took to Overland Expo, I went to Trader Joe's and got some dried Indian meals that tasted delicious. So you can really get creative out there. And if you can just go find a backpacker's recipe book, and you can just start going to town. It's lots of fun.
Now, this is where I said we talk about the weight. I saw the layout on your ride report. You have, and for those that haven't looked yet, she has an excellent couple photographs showing every piece of equipment laid out on the floor that she packed on that bike, and then a picture of the bike packed. And I'll tell you what, she's got it loaded. Let me tell you. And, my question to you is, I've never probably taken as much as you, and I was impressed how you fit it all on the bike. But I was concerned about creating a top-heavy condition because I have panniers on my F650, and I load the heavy stuff in that. And then I have like tank panniers up in the front, and I put like my extra chain stuff in there, and so all my heavy stuff is down as low as I can get it. And then like you, I use a dry bag on the back with my camping gear. But you had everything up top. Did you find that to be somewhat top heavy and make the bike a little rough to handle?
You know, Pat, I just had my gear sitting on top of my rack, my tail rack that I had designed, and in the tank bag. I had not gotten any other gear like saddlebags for the bike, so I had to deal with the top-heavy load on this, and doing it for a week. What was funny about it is, and over gripping because of the top heaviness of it, I got tendonitis in my right hand from constant throttling. And since then, I've loosened my grip quite a bit. I've gotten a lot smarter after that first ride.
Well,
let me tell you.
And we all do that. That's good. That was one of the things I noticed, though, when looking at how much stuff you packed.
Yeah,
and then where it all was. I'm saying, oh, my goodness.
How did she do it? Well, I did it, and since then I've streamlined my gear, gotten down to exactly what I need to take, redistributed the weight, and now it is free and easy, and I'm having a ball, and I'm really self-sufficient, and I can cruise around. I can go, week, two. I'm planning a trip to Mexico in the fall, so, yeah, I'm excited.
Well, good. You'll have to come back on and talk to us about the Mexico trip for sure.